To be honest, it's pretty much the most democratic sort of unit I've ever been involved with. Like, there really is, there's rarely any sort of major hassles with sort of opposing factions, which is sort of what broke up the original unit in the first place.
Which was Das Madman?
Yeah.
What was the problem there?
Just at the time there was nearly two factions. The people who wanted it really wiggy, and the people who were sort of fairly happy with the way it was going at the time, which was just, you know, pretty heavy sort of standardish post-rock. Like. And then in the sort of the time we were broken up, everyone's headspace sort of started to go in the sort of same direction. Like.
When 9 people play live together, play on stage together, and do it so harmoniously, it creates a really great sense of elation for the audience. How does it feel to be a part of the actual the band when you're on stage?
I mean, yeah, when it's good, it's just it's the best thing ever. Like, especially when you can sort of see the audience sort of going for it, and especially like if there's something happening at the time and you can actually hear the response from the crowd. I mean, that's the best feeling in the world. And in terms of, you know, if this sounds right on stage, then you don't even need the audience. You're sort of buzzing off what's going on within the band. So yeah, I mean, it's the main reason for doing it, really, because it sure as hell don't pay none.
Most instrumental music, and I know that you're not strictly instrumental and that you have employed vocals in the past and you will in the future, but most instrumental rock music is fairly generic, and people call it post-rock and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But Jimmy Cake are a very, very different proposition altogether. Do you think what you do is kind of exotic? Do you see any kind of direct comparisons with any of the music that's going on in the world?
We like to think that what we're doing is very unique, but then it seems like such a conceited thing to say that you try and pull yourself back in and actually try and find people who do sound like. I think you can definitely see, you can hear influences throughout the music, but in terms of a direct comparison, I don't really know of anyone who's doing it. Like usually you can at least pull up one band who uses like even a similar instrument lineup, but I think that's what makes us unique. I think is the actual instrumentation.
Basically, background is I've been playing music all my life. A lot of it serious, kind of classical style, contemporary music. Everything from heavy metal bands in Germany to jazz. And at the moment, I actually just finished writing the first act of my opera with Thwaite for the Almeida Opera in England. So yeah, lots of little things. And then I've also did a lot of work with Fergus Kelly from Repetitive Strain Industries. And Dave Lacey, I don't know if you know Dave.
I do, yeah.
So we've done a lot of work together. So most of the work that I've probably previously come from is kind of either experimental or serious kind of work. So the Jimmy Cake is my one concession to reality. And people that music, people that most people just love listening to it. So it's gas. It's gas. But playing in a band where you've got a huge audience compared to playing obscure music where the audience is usually consists of 3 or 4 people who are wildly into absolutely abstractism and the likes of that. So it's gas.
You learned how to play live together and stuff like that, and do that really well. But when you went into the studio to record Brains, how did that? Was that a difficult process?
Oh, it really shaped up the writing process anyway.
Yeah.
Before that, we were jamming a lot more and didn't really spend much time thinking out structures until we went to record the album, and everything did come together nicely.
Lisa, the first album is called Brains, which came out in Pilatus Records, July 2001. How was the experience? Did it reflect what you'd achieved in live shows and stuff like that? Or?
Yeah, I was very happy with it. Yeah. I'm not sure if it quite reflects what we're doing in the live shows now, but I hope that will be the case with the next album when we finally get it done.
Were you excited about the idea of releasing an album independently and actually putting a product out in the shops. And
Yeah, I was really, really proud of it. I think the point of actually going into a record shop and seeing sort of a nice display of our album with our album cover and our title that we'd come up with, and knowing that we'd done it all ourselves, down to designing the cover and deciding that the CD was going to be bright yellow so people wouldn't lose it.
And importing the posh
Our
Italian cardboard.
fancy paper and our nice silver ink, and our little man being carried away by rats.
Rory, in some ways you're the most mysterious member of the band. You don't do a lot of interviews, and a lot of people feel that they don't know the real you. How do you feel about that? I see. John was saying earlier that obviously a 9-person band is incredibly difficult to bring out of Ireland and tour and do all those kind of things, those practical things. But do you see the music translating abroad? Do you actually have a...
More so than a lot of things, because there's no lyrical content to try and translate. So, I mean, the sort of less... I don't know. I mean, it's not very sort of its time either, that much. You know, I mean, you could kind of see a few parallels at the moment, but it's not really sort of rooted in
any particular
fad
genre
or whatever. And also having no lyrical content means that it won't sound dated or sort of too angsty or whatever. You know what I mean? Like in years to come, you won't look back and go, "Geez, I wish I hadn't said that."
Tell me about the video for Hungry Ghosts that the Del 9 made.
Yeah.
The lovely classical animation, and the drawings were based on drawings that you actually...
Well, I gave them a load of drawings and a story, and just left them to see how they'd put it together. So they got the spirit of it very well.
Yeah, certainly.
Like it came out, I was really pleased with the way it came out.
It does work. Sometimes that's surprising, because it should be an awful lot more condensed than it is, but it's not. I honestly don't understand why, to be honest. I mean, me and John have been playing together for 5 years now, so that helps. We understand each other. And as long as we're all right, then everyone can work around that,
Yeah.
I think.
Do you think one particular member of the band might represent a driving force?
Yeah, me.
Thanks. Most of the members of the band reckon Jimmy Cake has a democratic setup. Dip, on the other hand, reckons he's the driving force. What's your own feeling on that?
You should probably just be a driving instructor, because he'd probably be better at that than he is at playing bass. Yeah,
Seriously.
it's probably one of the most like egalitarian music situations you could ever come across. Like in terms of like there's I don't think there's any kind of specific hierarchy in terms of writing, because everyone kind of brings so much to it and kind of leaves so much at the door as well when they're coming into it, you know. So what you have is, I suppose, everyone's just being really good filters for their own influences and stuff. And you know, the whole thing really does depend on everything that everyone brings.